I'm Michael Seitz, joined by Alberto Calderon, and this is Cal and Seitz. We've got a jam-packed show for you here on this Tuesday. Just very quickly, NHL news to start. The Senators are making moves. They've signed or traded for like five or six players the last week. And the Lightning are set to open up, as we said, on the 13th and defend their Stanley Cup Finals win. Also, Mike Hoffman, probably one of the most high-profile free agents on the market, signed a player tryout with the St. Louis Blues. Camp starts for them on January 3rd, which we talked about this a little before, that Hoffman is much better than a player tryout, so there must be something going on behind the scenes. I'm not sure what you think there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Hoffman definitely has one of the better shots in the NHL, and I don't understand why St. Louis has to have him try out for a spot on the team. He
I
could
don't know
definitely.
what. I don't know why he wasn't signed earlier.
Exactly. He should have been signed a couple months ago to somewhere, but if he could fit right into St. Louis,
Oh, yeah.
and make them even better than what they are. He's a great second line piece. I don't know why they're giving him a tryout.
Mm-hmm.
So he should just fit right in there, give him a jersey number, let him suit up and play. I don't know why.
Absolutely. Put him in 68, let him skate around and score. That's all
Exactly.
you need to do.
Uh-huh.
All right. Before we get to the NFL, which we have tons to talk about, we're going to get to college football, some bunch of bowl games happening. Just a side note, we are pre-recording this here on Sunday night. The Sunday night game just finished up, so some of the lines and injuries and stories might be a little old on Tuesday when this airs. We're just going to work with what we have here. So we're going to start with college football, as I said. Bunch of good bowl games from now through Friday. We're going to start on Tuesday, which would be today. Number 21, Oklahoma State, is playing number 18, Miami, in the Cheez-It Bowl. Oklahoma State is a 2-point favorite. Who do you like in this one?
I like Miami in this one. I think Miami, Oklahoma State, I don't know why they're still ranked. They're 7-3. They do have 3 losses. I do like Miami, though. Miami was once, the 8th best team in the country, or maybe even 7, I think, when they played Clemson, but they got beat up there. And more notable news about Miami, Derek King, their quarterback, is coming back for another season. So Miami, they're looking to go to the college football playoff next year, and battle Clemson for that ACC bid, basically, into the playoff. I like Miami in this one.
All right. I am going to go against you for the sake of going against you. I'm going to take Oklahoma State in this one. They haven't really been great down the stretch. Their last handful of games, actually, you can go all the way back to they did beat Iowa State. I'll give them that. That was a 3-point game. But you lose in overtime to Texas, who they're ranked now, I believe.
Yeah.
You only beat Kansas State by 2. You get crushed by Oklahoma. You barely beat Texas Tech. You lose to TCU, and then, granted, you do kill Baylor, but Baylor stinks. Yeah. So they have not finished strong for a team that possibly could have made a run at the playoff earlier in the year because of the weakness in college football this year, the mediocrity. But I think Oklahoma State gets it done. All right, our next bowl also tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern. Texas, who's number 20, as we mentioned before, will play Colorado in the Alamo Bowl. Who do you got in this one?
I got Colorado in this one. Texas.
Buffs.
There's just something wrong with Texas, when it comes to, big games. Not even a big game, but just something meaningful for their program.
Texas is back, they say.
After that Sugar Bowl win over Georgia, I haven't seen anything to prove that. So I like Colorado in this game. That line is pretty big, 9.5 right now. Minus 9.5 for the Longhorns. I like Colorado winning outright in this one.
I think Colorado's definitely covering that plus 9.5.
Yeah.
I think there's also a chance they win outright. I personally will not touch this one, but I think Colorado has a very good chance of getting it done.
Yeah.
3 bowls Wednesday: Wake Forest, Wisconsin, and Duke's Mayo Bowl; Iowa, Missouri, and the TransPerfect Music City Bowl. And in my opinion, this is going to be the best game, at least on paper, in my opinion, before the college football playoff final. It is number 7 Florida, number 6 Oklahoma in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. Florida, 3-point favorites. What you got?
I like Florida in this game. Oklahoma, they just they've gone up the rankings ever since they lost. Mm-hmm. So I think it was Iowa State earlier in the year, right? They lost to Iowa State. They fell. Yes. And, they just kept winning. But Florida has played a meaningful game since, 3 weeks ago. And, they almost knocked off Alabama. I mean, they needed one
Almost.
stop, and they couldn't get that stop.
Yep.
I like Florida. I mean, what's the line right now? You know what it is?
It's at 3. Florida 3.
Oh,
-3.
Florida's way better team. They played way better competition. Big 12 has never been that good over the last 5 years. So I like Florida. What do you got?
I'm gonna agree with Florida. I think it's gonna be close till the end, but I think Florida pulls away. I'm also looking for tons and tons of points here. You got a Big 12 team and an SEC team.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Big 12 team obviously scores a lot, but the SEC team in Florida scores a lot too. Points per game, both averaging just under 42 points a game, 41.6 and 41.8. I think Florida gets it done, like I said, and I'm looking for the over. I can't find an over number. Oh, it's over under 71.5, which is a lot, even for college, but I think that goes over.
Okay.
So, all right, Thursday the 31st, New Year's Eve. Number 24, Tulsa and Mississippi State. That's 3-7 Mississippi State. West Virginia and Army. Arkansas, TCU.
Well, Army got a
Arkansas
bowl
also.
game.
Army did get a bowl game. They were supposed to play one and got canceled. So they moved back West Virginia. This is the game of the day on New Year's Eve for me. It's the MAC champion Ball State Cardinals, I believe they are. The Cardinals? Ball State?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the number 22 San Jose State, I don't know their name, in the OfferPad Arizona Bowl. San Jose State, 7-0, undefeated Mountain West champions, 9.5-point favorites. Who you got?
I got San Jose State. I do want to say these names are pretty great, man. The OfferPad Arizona Bowl, the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
I'm going to have to stop you real quick there, Alberto. Like I said, we're pre-recording on Friday or Sunday night, but this is just in from Ken Rosenthal. The Padres have an agreement in place to acquire Blake Snell from the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, my gosh.
Like I said, this show might have some old news to it, but this is legitimate reaction here on Sunday night. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we got to go right to this.
Listen, the Padres right now with that signing, they're thinking NL pennant.
They're thinking World Series.
They're thinking They're thinking World Series right now. They're thinking World Series or bust, basically. That's a pretty quick turnaround for the
Bunch
Padres.
of prospects going back.
Wow, man. When you look at that lineup, you got Tatis, you got Hosmer, you got Machado, and now you add Snell to Paddock, Denelson Lamet. This is gonna be that's a hard team, and you're gonna look that Dodgers and Padres battle this year is gonna be one to watch because
I cannot wait.
Wow, that's
162. Breaking news here on Cal Insights. We used to do it all the time back on live on the air for WSBU The Buzz, which will be back up there in a couple weeks. Crazy how time flies. But yes, that's just some breaking news there. Like I said, pre-recording Sunday night. That's just our instant reactions. I think it's a great move for the Padres. Gave up some prospects, but they are in win now mode, and you can tell. Okay, back to what we were talking about.
Wait, hold on. What does this mean for the Rays, though? The Rays.
Okay. Yeah.
The Rays, if they had a shot to win the division, I don't think they have a shot now to win the AL East now.
Never say never with this Rays team. That's what we learned this year. I think the Yankees take the division, but I think the Rays still have a chance to make the playoffs. It'll be interesting. We'll dissect this more when we get closer, but
yeah, wow.
Crazy happenings going on right now.
Padres, holy cow.
Crazy trade at 11:19 on Sunday, December 27th.
Any word on who the Padres gave up or no?
Prospects. I know Mejia, their top catching prospect, was in there because I remember looking at him for the Pirates.
I mean, San Diego does have top prospects for days. They just
Luis Patino, Francisco Mejia, Blake Hunt, and Cole Wilcox heading to Tampa. Deal pending review of medical records. We know the Rays are very good developing and finding diamonds in the rough, so this will be very interesting to see because some of those players are very close to being major league ready, such as Mejia. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when they come up. So I think it's a good deal for both sides because they wanted to get Snell out. So.
Yeah. They did, especially when Cash took him out of Game 7 or Game 6. I mean,
Game 6, yeah. All right, back to what we were talking about. Ball State and San Jose State. San Jose State is 9.5-point favorites.
I like San Jose State in this one. Ball State won the MAC, right? You said that
they beat Buffalo.
That's right. I do like San Jose State. I don't know if they'll cover. I don't know too many about these teams. San Jose State did beat Boise State, who always has the top spot in the Mountain West. I like San Jose here. I don't know if they'll
Uh,
cover, but
I'm gonna take San Jose State. Also, don't know anything about either of these
yeah.
teams. So we're gonna go over January 1st, Friday, New Year's Day. Auburn, Northwestern 3.5 point favorites. So we're not gonna touch that one right now. Georgia, Cincinnati, real quickly, noon on New Year's Day in the Peach Bowl. Who you got?
Oh man, this is such a tough game because Georgia did play down to their level this year. They should have been
Georgia is 7 point favorites too.
they should have been right there with Alabama this year. They weren't. Cincinnati, they wanted, there was speculation of them, trying to get into the playoff. That's not going to happen. I like Cincinnati with an upset here. I don't
Okay.
think Georgia has anything to play for. Cincinnati has a lot to play for. They want to get respect. They're not going to be as good next year. I mean, they might not even be ranked next year because everybody's a senior on that offense and defense. So I like Cincinnati in this game. I think they like them.
I hate whenever you take my picks. I hate it. So I'm going with Georgia,
Okay.
and that's all I have to say.
Okay.
The other two games that day later, 4 and 8, are the Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl, obviously semifinal games, which we're not going to get into much here. I think we're going to dive deep into those on Friday's show. Hopefully, we'll be able to get it out before that first game kicks off. But real quick, who wins those games? I got Alabama, Clemson, and I got them both by a lot.
Yeah, I got Alabama, Clemson. I definitely think Alabama is going to rout the Irish, but I think Ohio State can keep that game close against Clemson.
Alrighty. Like I said, we'll have more on Friday, whether that's recaps of some of the big bowls we talked about, previews of some of the big bowls that are still to go on. Also, we might have a couple special guest stars in on Friday to help with the bowl breakdown, if not this Friday, next Friday for our NFL playoff special. So we'll see there. All right, we'll move on. NFL action. Colts, Steelers, 1 o'clock on Sunday. The Steelers come back from 17 points down and win this 28-24. Never thought they were going to do it. Not a chance in hell. What are your thoughts on this game?
The Steelers' season was dead in the water at halftime.
Absolutely.
They were drowning. They were 2 seconds away from drowning. And now, Ben comes out of the half. I mean, I don't know what was said during that halftime.
I think they told Randy Fiegner to go home.
You think so?
I
Who do you think took over those play calling duties? Tomlin?
I think it was Ben.
Okay. It could
I think it
have
was Ben and maybe the quarterbacks coach, Matt Canada, ex-Pitt offensive coordinator.
I mean, yeah, Ben could have gone up to Tomlin or Fiegner and been like, "Yo, let me just go to work and let me just tear up this Indy defense, which is hard to do." And he did. But the Steelers were one half away, or one other lazy half away from not, winning a playoff game. And now you use this second half. You go into that game against Cleveland, you not having to play anybody because you solidified that third spot. Do you think they'll rest Big Ben next week?
I don't know. If I were the Steelers, I would keep Ben in for at least the first half to keep a rhythm going. But I'm not sure if they're going to do that. Plus, they technically are still playing for the second seed.
That's if Buffalo does lose tomorrow.
Even if they win on Monday, like we're assuming Buffalo is going to win on Monday, they still have stuff to play for. Because if Miami beats Buffalo and Pittsburgh beats Cleveland, Pittsburgh has a better record than Buffalo.
That's right. Okay, that's right.
And it'll be interesting to see what they do.
Let me hear what you thought. I mean, as with that TJ Watt jersey on, let me hear what you have to say about this game.
First off, TJ Watt should be the defensive player of the year, and it shouldn't even be close. He leads the league in sacks. He has literally held the defense together through injury.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to get it just because the disrespect just throughout the football world to the Pittsburgh Steelers every year.
Who do you think who do you think would get it? Aaron Donald?
Probably Donald or for some reason Jamal Adams on one of the worst defenses in the league.
Nah, I don't think Jamal Adams. He's missed 5.
He's got 8.5 sacks as a safety.
That is the most all time, but he's also missed 4 or 5 games.
You would think, but you don't know what the NFL writers are going to do. They seem to have it out for certain teams. So
yeah.
But anyway, this game, I was watching like I had the last 3 or 4 weeks, saying, yeah, this game's over. They're not winning. Even after they went up 28-24, I still had zero faith. And even to the point right before the fourth down and 4 non-conversion. I still thought they were going to lose. So I was shocked they won. Obviously happy they won. I still don't know if they win a playoff game. They got to show me something. If they play next week, the starters play next week, they got to show me something. The main thing is the defense to get rested and healthy. Spillane's supposed to be back for the playoffs. So if they get him back, that'll be great. So could they win a playoff game? Yes. Could they win the Super Bowl right now? From what I've seen, no. But you never know. The AFC is going to be a crapshoot. It's going to be fun. There's going to be a very, very, very good football team that's going to miss the playoffs. So,
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, the Steelers with this second half comeback, I think this is a launching pad for them. I now think that they'll win next week against Cleveland. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that because I don't know what their game plan is going into that game because they could rest
if starters play.
Yeah, we don't know that yet. But I think that they'll look back at the second half and be like, let's go out there and win this playoff game. Especially, they're going to be home too. They're going to be at Heinz. They're going to host a playoff game. I think they can win a game, as much as I hate to say it. As much as we've seen bad Pittsburgh Steelers football for the last 20-something quarters besides the last 2. So,
yeah. So now the Colts, they went from controlling their own destiny, number 5 seed, possibly even 4, 3, or up to 2 if they would have won this game, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're out, and they need help.
Yep.
Not looking good, but once again, the Dolphins do play the Bills. So I stand by my Cleveland, Baltimore, Indy wild cards. So even though I would love the Dolphins to make the playoffs. So
yeah.
All right. We will move on to our next game. We're just going to cover pretty much anyone with playoff implications. I'll just go over all the scores. Chiefs look bad again today. We don't have time to dissect them in this show tonight, but they did not look good. Koo missed a game-tying field goal, which is very rare. Chiefs won 17-14, officially locked up the number 1 seed. They got to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
If they want to get out of this AFC. The Jets, again, Alberto. The Jets. How mad are you that they don't have the 1 seed or the 1 overall pick?
I'm pretty mad. All you've been hearing for the last 2 years is Trevor Lawrence, and you've been listening to the Peyton Manning comparisons, and a mobile Peyton Manning. Just imagine that. And so now, I mean, they weren't going to get it anyway once they won last week.
Mm-hmm.
I was rooting for them today against Cleveland.
Good.
I don't like Baker. I think
Baker.
I don't like Baker. I don't think he's all that good.
I hate Baker.
I like the win today. I don't know. I just don't understand why we couldn't have this motivation, this tenacity 7 or 16 weeks ago. I
don't know. I couldn't tell you. Nothing against you, but I'm glad that Trevor Lawrence will not be wasting his career as a New York Jet. So, but anyway, to the game today, the Browns without a lot of their top receivers because of COVID issues.
Yeah.
But that's not their game. Their game is ground and pound, and they didn't do that today. And the defense didn't do it today either. Gore had a great game. The Browns' rushing defense appears to be a major, major problem, at least in the immediate future. Chubb he was their leading rusher with 28 yards today. They got to figure something out.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets' run defense is not that bad in the league. I think they're 12th or 13th in the league, which is pretty fair,
Still, whenever you have the tandem of Hunt and Chubb, you should be able to get something going against.
Yeah, I mean, they probably have the first or second best run game in the entire league, and I saw the stat they had 4 rushing yards at half.
It's not gonna work.
Not gonna cut it, and that was it.
So, the Browns now, would it not be the most Cleveland thing ever to not make the playoffs after you start 10-4?
That's crazy, and that's a testament to how good the AFC is this year, because you have 4 or 5 10-5 teams, and one of them is not going to make the playoffs, which is crazy. And imagine if this was last year, 2 of them aren't going to make the playoffs, which is crazy. So, Cleveland, they have a tough first half. Let's say that against Pittsburgh next week, a tough first half. If they don't come out and they're dead, they're down in the second half, it's not going to be good.
Yeah. Alrighty, we'll move on. The Ravens today, 27-13 victors over the Giants. I think everybody saw the Ravens coming, especially after their win in Cleveland. that 4 out of their last 5 games were very easy. So I think we were both expecting them to go at least 4-1. Looks like they're going to go 5-0. They've got who they got next week? Somebody easy, the Bengals.
Yeah, they got
We've won 2 in a row, but
surprising.
Speaking of, they won 37-31 today. Brandon Allen, I believe, was their quarterback today. P. Ryan and Bernard both had big days. Chargers win by 3 over the Broncos on a last-minute field goal. Round out the AFC here with any more important games. Oh, yes, Saturday. I forgot about the Saturday games. Dolphins-Raiders. What a game that was.
That was crazy.
Tua bench for Fitzmagic. Tua gets his head ripped off whenever he throws a bomb to some no-name tight end along the side. They, 20 points scored in the last 2 minutes. I had the over. That last field goal got me the over. I was happy. So,
Oh my gosh.
So what are your thoughts on this game? Because there are so many takeaways from this.
This was a crazy game, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, they're putting in Ryan Fitzpatrick right now.
I thought it was a terrible move myself at the time.
I thought it was because you deem Tua as your franchise quarterback for the next, let's say, 12 to 15 years, and you take him out in one of these spots where he needs to be your franchise quarterback. That shows me, what does that say about the relationship between Flores and Tua? Does Flores not trust Tua to, lead a game-winning drive? I mean,
yeah.
that just doesn't sound well to me. And that, if I'm Tua, I'm definitely saying to myself, my head coach does not believe in me to make a key pass or lead a key drive. But Miami pulled out the win. It fits magic again. And I want to hear your thoughts on that Tua Flores connection right now.
I've got a lot to say on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So first off, if Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady or Drew Brees made that play that Fitzpatrick made at the end of the game, you would not stop seeing that forever. You probably won't see it much because it was Fitzpatrick with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Second off, like I said, I hated the move.
Yeah.
At the time. But I don't know if you saw, but I saw on social media and on the broadcast, Tua and Fitz are like this.
Yeah.
Tua understands what's going to happen if he doesn't perform, which he was not. Fitz understands his role at this point as a mentor savior when they're in danger. It worked perfectly. And Brian Flores is a genius. I mean, we've been saying he's a good coach, but he just gets better and better every week at this point. So, like I said, I didn't like the move at the time, but it paid off. Got a little lucky there, but it paid off. So, I mean, all the power to him. This game was 16-13 with 4 minutes left in the fourth, ended 26-25.
Yeah.
So, the Dolphins, I don't know if they're going to win in Buffalo next week. 11-5 season or whatever they'll be. They'll be 11-5 or
10-6 if they lose.
10-6 season. Still a great year for this team. I think it's very crucial that they re-sign Fitzpatrick, if I believe his contract's up, to be an even more less limited role on Tua next year.
Yeah.
But look, it's crunch time. They needed to win that game, and they did what they needed to do. Glad they won. Tua's still the starter. He should play next week if they're in a crunch time situation again where Tua, he did not look great yesterday. But remember, he's a rookie still.
Yeah.
So, and he wasn't even supposed to play a lot this year. So
no, this was definitely supposed to be, the transformation year or the learning year like Mahomes had.
Well, that's he's doing it just in a different way.
Just in a different way. And, I liked, mid-game, or not mid-game, but, when Flores made the move to go with Fitzpatrick, it was definitely a change of pace for that Oakland Raiders defense. First of all, the Oakland Raiders defense is terrible. Yeah. And, you go from a compact quarterback, somewhat dual threat with Tua, to a gunslinger with Ryan Fitzpatrick, and they were not ready for that.
And Tua didn't have the deep ball working either yesterday or the other day.
Nope, he did not. So it was a change of pace, and Flores, he outsmarted Gruden, which was really good to see.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's talk about the Raiders. 2 years in a row, absolute collapse.
Yeah,
best they can finish is 8-8. They were 6-3.
I believe
Six
so.
and
Yeah,
four
they were.
with two very close losses to Kansas City. Or no, they beat Kansas City once. One very close loss to Kansas City and one win over Kansas City.
Mhm.
This looked like a team that you might not want to mess with when you come to where we are now in the year.
Yeah.
Collapse again. So, but I just want to say Derek Carr did not look comfortable all day, especially when his pocket collapsed. Like, no quarterback is comfortable when he has to scramble and run around, except maybe like Lamar or
Yeah.
Mahomes. But every time his pocket collapsed, he would either go down, try and force something, or just kind of scramble around and fall over. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It was like clear-headed thinking went right out the window.
Yeah.
So they need to fix that. I don't know if it was because he pulled whatever he pulled his groin or whatever last year on a rollout or last week on a rollout or what, but they need to figure that out because Mariota looks like the better quarterback as of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they'll need to figure it out. And I know John Gruden likes his quarterback competitions, but I don't. He's got to figure something out himself. He needs a defense first off, but they got to figure it out. So
They do, and we were talking about, or I think I brought it up a couple weeks ago, something needs to happen, either the front office needs to look at Gruden, the front office needs to look at Derek Carr. And I was looking at it earlier this year. Oakland was 6-3, or Las Vegas was 6-3. Last year they were 6-4. Last year they were 6-4. They got blown out by the Jets by, I believe, 30 plus. And that ended their season right there with that loss. Now they're 6-3. And they only win one game out of their last 6 or so games. So something needs to change here because they were playoff teams in the first half of the year and one of the worst in the second half. So
yeah, I agree. So yeah, they got to figure something out. That's the bottom line.
yeah.
So that should about do it for the AFC. Let's look at the NFC here. We'll start with the game that just wrapped up when we're recording this. The Packers, they took it to the Titans. 40-14 was the final score. The Packers have pretty much clinched that number one seed. Not officially yet. They still have to beat the Bears, which is bad news for the Bears because they're looking to make the playoffs now somehow. So the Packers rolled. Devontae Adams, bunch of yards and touchdowns. Aaron Jones had a nice big run. Rodgers once again looking like an MVP. What are your thoughts on this one from both sides?
Green Bay looks good. Green Bay looks incredibly good. They look Super Bowl bound right now. They're looking
And they
at
contained Henry.
Yeah, they did. And that was the scary part too because the defense is definitely their weak spot this year. And they look good. I mean, it was snowy. And Tennessee has to lean on their run game in order to win a game. And they weren't able to do that today. They weren't able to go to their safety net and Henry and their offensive line. So if Green Bay can play like this for the next month, they're on a beeline right to the Super Bowl. They're probably on a beeline to being crowned in February.
I completely agree.
And in terms of Tennessee, I know you're not heavy on that team. I know you're not heavy on that defense. I want to hear your thoughts on the defense. Although it was Rodgers tonight.
It was snowing. It was slick. You didn't think Rodgers was really going to be able to throw the ball around, but he did anyway. And this should have helped the subpar Tennessee secondary. It did not. So I am completely done with the Titans. They could win a playoff game, absolutely. I don't see them doing what they did last year. Unless Henry takes over, which once again, that's entirely possible. They can put up points. It's just, can they stop the opposition? And I don't think they can, especially in the AFC. So, But the Packers, they are on a beeline to the Super Bowl, like you said. Yeah. And I think they will get there, and I think they probably will win it. Of course, whoever comes out of the AFC is going to be very good.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I want to see that NFC Championship game between Rodgers versus the New Orleans defense, which is – I want to see that game up in Lambeau in the dead of winter, when it's 15 degrees outside.
And snowing like it did in this game.
I need to see that game, Maybe Wisconsin will let in fans for that game. Who knows? They probably would.
Better. They would.
The Packers in Wisconsin. So
absolutely.
I need to see that matchup between the Saints defense and Aaron Rodgers. I need to see that.
Yep. All right, so some other games on Christmas. Kamara, 6 touchdowns, tied the NFL record for rushing touchdowns. Absolutely ridiculous. The Buccaneers beat the living hell out of the Lions, 47-7. Lions they're not good. Some other NFC games. Let's see. Oh, the big one. Oh, we'll get there in a second. Cowboys beat the Eagles. Panthers beat the football team. With a football team loss and a Cowboy win, the Dallas Cowboys sneak into the playoffs.
Somehow.
I still like the football team. We'll talk more about that on Friday. Also, like I said, a lot to get to tonight. NFC West champion has been crowned, and it surprised both of us. The Seattle Seahawks 20, the Los Angeles Rams 9. Jared Goff might have broke his thumb. Jared Goff might be out next week, and Jared Goff and the Rams might not make the playoffs. If the Cardinals win, if the Cardinals and Bears win next week, the Los Angeles Rams will not make the playoffs.
And it's very likely to, because the Cardinals play LA, right?
The Cardinals play LA. So let's break down this game first.
Yeah.
Seattle's defense, all of a sudden, are they a force to be reckoned with? What is going on?
I think so. I think they figured it out. I think they're, ever since, the Giants game, because I think you watched the game too, because that first half, they held the Giants to no points.
They still lost the game, but they shut them down.
They shut them down, and then they stay at home and they play the Jets. Obviously, that's an easy win, but they only allow the Jets to score 3 points. And that was probably the turning point of their season, playing both New York teams and allowing themselves to, identify what they're good at on the defensive side of the ball. And now they look like Super Bowl contenders all of a sudden if the defense can play like this. So, Seattle, I don't think they'll make the Super Bowl. I think they'll make the NFC Championship game at most. I think that's their ceiling.
Okay, at most, okay.
I think that's their ceiling. But I still don't trust them to win that NFC Championship game if they do get there. Even, a divisional matchup, I wouldn't. If they get matched up with New Orleans or something like that, I wouldn't trust them. But this win tonight was really good. Let me hear your thoughts.
Yeah. I think that neither of these teams are for real anymore. The Rams played me good. The Rams played me real good on it.
It's easier.
And I'm not proud of it. The Rams got me. I feel like an idiot because I was not on the Rams, then I was on the Rams, and then I was like, no, they're not for real. And the week before the Jets, they're going to the NFC Championship game. And look where we are now. And now if Goff is out, so other games today the other day that we will recap real quick for you before we get into this conversation about the wild card.
Yeah.
The best statistical offense in football over the last 3 games put up 41 points on Sunday, beat the Jaguars. That would be the Chicago Bears, by the way, the best statistical offense last 3 weeks. Trubinsky looks like he did through 2 years ago. 41-17 they win. Yeah. And the Niners with the big upset over the Cardinals in Arizona, 20-12 was that score. The Cardinals screwed themselves is what it looks like. But now door open again with the Rams and Goff not possibly being able to play. Not sure who their backup's name is. I forget it right now. But the Rams backup quarterback, I believe he went to Wake Forest, and he has never taken a regular season NFL snap. So it might get ugly for LA. But the good thing for LA and Arizona is that they can both still get in with a Cardinal win and a Bears loss. The Bears are going to have to play a fully loaded Packers team because the Packers can still get knocked off of that shelf.
Yeah.
So we'll go over all these clinching scenarios on Friday. But the Saints and Seahawks are both still alive for that number 1 spot.
Yes, they are.
Even with the head-to-head for Green Bay over New Orleans, they're still alive for that 1 spot because of tiebreakers and 3-way ties and all that. So I think that's about all we've got for the NFL there. I think we should keep our power rankings till Friday because obviously Buffalo hasn't played yet at the time of this recording, which if they have a big showing, I might move them ahead of Kansas City.
Mm.
Just
And Green
because
Bay?
of maybe not Green Bay,
Okay.
but there's a very good possibility that Kansas City falls in my power rankings for this week because of their ugly win.
Okay.
So some games next week. Steelers, Browns, obviously the big one. Dolphins, Bills, Ravens, Bengals. Anything with playoff implications, I'm going to list. Falcons, Bucks, technically has playoff implications. Green Bay and Chicago is the big one. We got Jaguars, Colts. Colts need to win and some help. Rams, Cardinals, obviously is huge in LA. Seahawks, Niners, Saints, Panthers, Titans, Texans, and the Sunday night game, it will be the football team and the Eagles.
Oh, it got flexed.
Yes.
That's good.
Bunch of games got moved around. So we will go over those on Friday. Let's just take a look at this updated playoff picture. This is assuming the Buffalo Bills win on Monday.
Okay.
Kansas City 14-1, they clinched a 1 seed. Buffalo 12-3, 2 have the head-to-head tiebreaker over Pittsburgh, who's the 3. Both at 12-3.
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee is now 4th, 10-5. Miami 10-5. Baltimore 10-5. Cleveland 10-5. That's the cutoff. Indy 10-5. There's a bunch of head-to-head weird tie breaks in there, division stuff, all kinds of crap. That, like I said, we will get into. We're gonna pull out the ESPN playoff machine on Friday. We'll see what we can do about that, getting a visual up there. But we're gonna pull out the playoff machine. We're gonna run through all kinds of scenarios. It's gonna be a show almost entirely devoted to the NFL and the possible playoff picture. But let's look at the NFC real quick. Green Bay 12-3 right now at the 1. New Orleans 11-4, 2. Seattle 11-4, 3. The football team is 6-9 at the 4th. Tampa 10-5 at the 5. The Rams 9-6 at 6. The Bears 8-7 at 7. And then the cutoff, Arizona 8-7 at 8, and Dallas still alive at 6-9 for that division only. So
I'm kind of curious how Green Bay hasn't locked up the 1 seed though, because
they were explaining it on NBC. The political guy was talking about it. He was saying how if it's a 3-way tie, the Saints get in on some tie because head-to-head's thrown out the window unless all 3 teams have played each other in a 3-way tie.
And they haven't played each other.
They have not.
Yeah.
Only Green Bay and New Orleans have played each other. So Green Bay's win against New Orleans, that means absolutely nothing at that point, and it goes to, I believe, like conference record, strength of victory, all that crap.
Okay. Because I was like, Green Bay beat New Orleans early on in the year, but I guess since Seattle.
Now, if Seattle loses, Green Bay loses. So if it's a 2-way tie between Green Bay and New Orleans, it's Green Bay.
Yeah.
If it's a 2-way tie between Green Bay and Seattle only, I believe it's Seattle.
Yeah.
And then if it's the 3 of them,
it's New Orleans.
It is New Orleans.
Wow.
So it's simple as that for Green Bay, winning in. Or winning 1. So, yes. Anything else to add on this crazy everywhere show?
No, man. I'm just excited for the NFL playoffs starting in less than 2 weeks now. 2 weeks we'll be looking at AFC and NFC wildcard weekend. It's gonna be fun. NBA is back up. It's fun. NHL is starting in less than 2 to 3 weeks. So it's fun.
Yeah. So let's go a little schedule real quick before we sign off here. Like we said, Friday we'll preview the whole playoff picture. Next Tuesday we will know who's in. We'll dissect that week's games, probably also college football bowl games that we haven't talked about yet. The Friday, January 8th, right before all the NFL playoff games get going, we'll have a huge show on that, dissect all the matchups and everything, maybe make our brackets or pass to Super Bowl. We might have some guests on that one. And then that Tuesday, January 11th, we'll have both a recap, very quick recap of the NFL first round.
Yeah.
And a talkie, baby.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. Some big stuff going on behind the scenes here, planning and execution. So that's all we got for tonight, unless you have anything else.
No, that's it.
All right. Be sure to like and subscribe if you like what we're doing here. Comment, as usual, what you would like to see. Hope you guys have a great night. This was Cal Insights.